Everybody, today we're taking a look at an RTA, the Voluna 2 by ASMODUS. Alright, so this is the Voluna 2 by ASMODUS. I think it is a very nice looking RTA. Let's dive down and take a look at it. So today we're taking a look at the Voluna 2 from ASMODUS. It will come in that new packaging that they're using lately with your manual, extra glass, tool, and coil. Let's go ahead and look at the device itself, and then we'll check out the coil and coil it and wick it up. Drip tip this is a new one, so a little tight in there. 810 drip tip. Nice knarling along the top here. You can really feel it. I think it looks really nice. This is the gold version, obviously. Slide to fill on top. It is a swivel slide. In other words, it doesn't slide straight. It actually turns on a pivot in the corner. The bottom you will have ASMODUS Voluna 2. Pretty protruding 510 pin. More knarling along the bottom. Airflow is... It feels like it's clicking. It's hard to say. It's like smooth, but it also feels like a click on there. Again, this is a new one, so we're just unpackaging that, and we'll know more about that after using this for a while. Let's go ahead and unscrew the base. Dual post design with two lead holes, as you can see. If they're offset, both counterclockwise and clockwise wrapped coils will easily fit in there. There's your deck. Nice size juice well. Big wick holes over there. Alright. Really looks sharp, nice and clean machining on there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top. You have your glass with an O-ring. Standard top, pretty much. Pretty standard. Go ahead and pop that back on there. All right. Let's go ahead and get this on something and wick it up. The coils that they are including here, as you can see, they're rated for use Claptons, 0.3 ohms each, so this should come out to around a 0.15 build. 2x26, 40 gauge, nichrome 80. Go ahead and open up those post screws. Take the first coil. Coming out to 0.13 before dry burning. Straighten those out a little bit more. If you notice one of your coils is heating up faster than the other, it could be because it's touching and not as separated as the other one, but it also can be that your leads are not screwed down tight enough. So when you see that, always check the tightness of all the screws. As you see, they're heating up a little more evenly now. Pretty much heat being applied to both pretty much at the same time now. Pretty standard. All right. Nothing surprising here. Pretty standard deck. Cotton, wick. Let's go ahead and clean up the cotton, put it in. So now to point out, when wicking this, all right, you can see these, it's all open inside. So this wick holes are not closed in. I can put this tool all the way in right to the other side, all right? Okay, you can see the tool can go all the way right into the other side. So unlike a lot of standard wicking holes where you're trying to either go down into a chamber or pack it across the top of the chamber so the juice comes in and touches the bottom, these wick holes go straight in all the way. So basically when you put your cotton down, you're going to want to have your cotton up against the inside of this hole, up against the wall this way, all right? Because otherwise juice is just going to flow right in there and fill that up. So you got to make sure that the wick is going straight down and touching the bottom, but also covering the whole surface of the hole from one side or the other, so that if you just put it and you packed it too close to the post, for example, juice can leak right in through this side and go right in and fill the whole thing up and flood. So you want to make sure when you pack this down, it's in there good. And I'll show you what I mean as soon as I get the cotton in there. All right, I actually pulled out the cotton and re-wicked it because I want to show you the absolute proper wicking. And what I was using before was these kind of like cotton balls that you pull out. They're like little rolled up. And the problem with that is the cotton, let's see if I can grab one here. When you use cotton like that, pieces like this, it's not always consistent. It could be thicker here than it is here. Like here, this I could feel is pretty thick, but over here it's thinner. And the problem with that is it's not very consistent. Where when you use organic cotton pads like these, Japanese organic cotton pads, it's pretty consistent thickness. So when I started to do two of the other wicks, they were a little thin on the inside. So I am re-wicking it, and I want to, I figured I'd leave this in the video to show you that I'm re-wicking it because I didn't feel the cotton was proper in there. And if it's not, you're going to have issues. So it's important when you're wicking. It's the most important thing of an RTA is the wicking. And it's important that you get it just right, like there. So zoom back in for you. All right. It's got to be blocking that hole. And that doesn't have to be up against the hole, but it's got to be that inside it's touching the bottom and going across from one side to the other so that juice can't creep in through underneath or through the sides. So there you go. Let's get some juice on that. Using some Dinner Lady Mango Tart. All right, let's get you the specs on this thing. All right, so overall, I've been very, very happy with this. Flavor on it's been really good. The way I built it and wicked it there has been the way I haven't had to change those coils. Perfect. I've re-wicked it a number of times already, tried a bunch of different juices, and I've been extremely happy with it. Zero leaking, no problems whatsoever. One thing to point out, and not something with this applies to all RTAs, but for anybody that's not very familiar with wicking, or if you're just not good with wicking, because that's the trick with an RTA, I think, is the wicking. Getting that wicking right is the most important thing. One time when I wicked it, as soon as I closed it all back up and put it together and filled it up with juice, I would notice one hole giving more bubbles than all the rest. Every 4 seconds or so was another bubble, another bubble. Once that reached like 6 bubbles, that's when I noticed, okay, that wicking is not packed in there tight enough and too much juice is flowing through there, and eventually it's going to leak. That's when you turn it upside down, all right, unscrew the top, unscrew the whole thing. You can re-push your cotton back in there, put it back together again. So I just want to point that out for those of you who feel, you're having problems with wicking or you leak. Go ahead and look for that. After you put everything back together and you have juice in there and you look at it, you should see some bubbles, but if you see one hole or even two that are giving you too many bubbles, it just keeps going, that's a sign that cotton is not packed in there tight enough. Especially with a deck like that, you've really got to make sure that cotton is covering the hole, because if air is able to, or juice is able to flow in there, you're eventually going to flood the deck and leak. I've had zero problems with leaking on this. Everything about this has been beautiful. The flavor's been nice. I've been very happy with it. One little strange thing which I noticed, which I'm going to show you a video up close in a moment, but this top piece here, if it's a slide to fill to open, right? But if you turn it clockwise, like you would tighten it, actually I don't need to show you an up close video, I'll just show you right here. It actually comes off. And then there's that, and that does slide, and I'm not going to open it now because I might leak, but that just slides completely around. So that's a little unusual. I don't remember any other, and then you have to put it like you were tightening counterclockwise to put this back on. A little strange. I don't remember any other RTAs having that I can recall. So once you put it on there and you get it on there tight, you never have to take that off. It serves no purpose to take it off. They just didn't make it into a one-piece top. It's a separate piece that unscrews from the top. And I just found it because as I slid it open, it started turning. I was like, wait a minute, this is not an unscrew to fill. This is a slide to fill. So why is that thing unscrewing? So a little strange there, but it doesn't affect anything at all. So I don't know why they decided to do that. And I can't see any real purpose to it. So anyway, that's off track. Everything about this has been good. The flavor is very good on it. I'm very happy with it. Once you get that wicking right and you make sure it's not too loose and not too tight, again, always comes down to the wicking. Everything about it's been good. ASMODUS always has their logo on there, which is a pretty basic, round logo. So it's not too protruding, or standing out much. Everything on here, the knurling is good. The knurling on the airflow ring on the bottom, sometimes that could be a little bit hard to grab, just because it's a little small down there and it's not a lot of knurling. But once you get it, into the spot you want, you're fine. But I wish that knurling was a little bigger, or maybe the airflow ring was just a slightly bit higher so that you could grab it a little better like that. Again, none of these are cons. These are just pointing out things to you. Again, I always look at it. A lot of people will point all these things out as cons. A con to me is something that makes it not good. Something doesn't work. If something affects the flavor or affects the tank in a negative way where it could be a problem, that's a con. These things are not cons. These are just pointing out things so you know things about it, all right? There are no cons to this. Everything about it's been great. I've been very happy with it. I'm going to take another vape. Plenty of clouds, plenty of flavor. I got this at 77 watts on there with a 0.21 build, and everything's been good about it. So there you go. That is the Voluna 2 by ASMODUS. That's the gold version. I really like it. It's been vaping great. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.